right, let's jump right in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the crypto market. We've got this incredible report as our guide, and believe me, there is a lot to unpack.
Oh, absolutely. This market never sleeps.
Never sleeps is right. Okay, so first up, Bitcoin. It's been teasing that $100,000 mark, but today it seems to be taking a little dip.
Yeah, I think it might be those traders taking profits after Bitcoin's recent climb.
That makes sense,
Yeah.
kind of a natural pause, right?
Exactly. A little breather before the next potential move.
All right, so Bitcoin's chilling for a bit. But Ethereum, on the other hand, seems to be steadily climbing. I keep hearing about staking as a possible factor. What's the deal with that?
Staking, well, think of it like you're earning interest on your Ethereum. You're basically locking it up to help secure the network. And in return, you get rewarded, kind of like interest payment.
Interesting. So you're contributing to the network's stability and getting something back for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's become pretty popular, actually.
Cool, cool. Now let's talk about a real rock star. Solana. It just smashed records, hitting a new all-time high.
It's been quite the ride for Solana. It's really turning heads in the crypto space.
And what's driving this surge?
I think a big part of it is the speed and the low transaction fees. Developers love that. And for everyday users, well, it just makes everything a whole lot smoother.
I could see that. Plus, they've been making some smart partnerships in the DeFi and NFT space. They're thinking long-term.
Definitely. They seem to be playing the long game here, and it seems to be paying off.
All right, next up, something that's been making headlines. Bitcoin ETFs. Over $3 billion poured into them in just a week. That's wild.
It really shows you how much interest there is from traditional investors, those who might not be comfortable buying Bitcoin directly.
Right. But there's some debate, right? Some say ETFs could lead to Bitcoin ownership becoming more centralized, which kind of goes against the whole decentralized idea of crypto, right?
It's a good question, and it's a valid concern. On the one hand, ETFs could open the door for more people to get into crypto. On the other hand, if a small group of big institutions ends up controlling most of the Bitcoin through ETFs, that could be a problem.
So it's about finding that balance.
Exactly. Accessibility versus decentralization. It's a key question for the future of Bitcoin.
Okay, moving on. We've got Avalanche making some noise with its 9,000 upgrade. The name sounds a bit intimidating. What's it all about?
Don't let the name scare you. It's basically a massive upgrade for the Avalanche network. Think of it like, going from dial-up internet to fiber optic. It's all about speed and efficiency. And to top it off, they've got this $40 million grant program to attract developers.
So basically, they're throwing some serious fuel on the innovation fire.
Absolutely. They're making a statement. They want to be a major player in this space.
I like it. Competition is good, right? Keeps everyone on their toes. All right, now let's shift gears to the gaming world. Sky Mavis, the folks behind Axie Infinity, they just laid off some staff. Tough move.
Yeah, it is. But they're saying it's to focus on a new blockchain game they're developing.
Interesting. Makes you wonder about the whole play-to-earn model, though. Axie Infinity was a pioneer, but are these games struggling to keep people engaged, keep them coming back?
Yeah, it's a tricky thing to get right. You need a game that's fun to play, but also rewarding enough that people want to stick around. Finding that balance is tough. A lot of these play-to-earn games have had trouble with that.
Yeah, I can see that. So the big question is, can their new game crack the code?
We'll have to wait and see. I'm curious to see what they come up with.
Me too. All right, now for a topic that always seems to come up. Elon Musk and Dogecoin.
Oh, yeah. Can't escape that one, can we?
It's like a recurring theme. It seems every time he tweets, Dogecoin goes on this roller coaster ride. His latest project, even though it's not directly related to Dogecoin, well, it seems to have sent the price soaring. Again.
Yeah, it's a bit of a phenomenon. But it does highlight how much Dogecoin's value is tied to, well, one person. And that's not really ideal for a cryptocurrency, is it?
Not really. A little too unpredictable, maybe.
To say the least. It's a gamble, that's for sure.
All right, let's move on to something that's been getting a lot of attention from regulators lately. Stablecoins?
Yeah, they're definitely under the microscope.
So for those who might not know, what are stablecoins?
Stablecoins are basically digital assets that are designed to maintain a stable value, usually pegged to something like the US dollar.
Okay, that makes sense. So why are regulators so interested in them?
Well, for one thing, they're becoming increasingly popular, especially for things like cross-border payments and in the world of decentralized finance.
So more people are using them, and that's attracting attention.
Exactly. And, regulators want to make sure things stay stable, that there aren't any systemic risks.
I can see that. A lot of money is flowing through these stablecoins, so Regulators are keeping a close eye on things.
Absolutely. They want to understand how these stablecoins fit into the broader financial system and make sure there are safeguards in place.
It's all about managing risk, right?
Mm.
Making sure the system stays healthy.
Yeah, finding that balance between fostering innovation and making sure things don't get out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, finding that balance is key. But speaking of balancing acts, let's talk about Ethereum and those sky-high gas fees. It's been a major pain point pushing people towards these Layer-2 solutions. Can you unpack that for us?
Layer-2 solutions. It does sound a bit like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Maybe, but it's actually pretty straightforward. Imagine Ethereum's main blockchain, right? Think of it like a super busy highway, tons of traffic. Every transaction is like a car trying to get through, and those gas fees, those are like the tolls you have to pay.
Okay, I'm following so far. So where do these Layer-2 solutions come in?
Well, imagine these Layer-2 solutions as express lanes built alongside that highway. They take some of the traffic off the main road, so transactions can happen faster and cheaper, lower tolls.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So are these Layer-2 solutions the answer to Ethereum's problems?
They're definitely helping, especially for smaller transactions, but it's kind of like, will adding more express lanes solve traffic forever? You might need to upgrade the whole highway system at some point.
So it's a temporary fix, or at least a partial one.
It's a step in the right direction. Ethereum's working on scaling up, but it's a complex challenge. It takes time.
You'll be interested to see how that all unfolds. All right, let's shift gears to something a bit more positive. The DeFi sector, it seems to be making a comeback.
It is, and it's back with a vengeance. The total value locked in DeFi protocols is hitting all-time highs. And it's not just about the numbers. There's so much innovation happening, new lending platforms, decentralized exchanges, all sorts of interesting stuff.
Sounds like a hotbed of activity. But with all this growth, I have to ask about security. We've seen some pretty major hacks in the DeFi space.
You're right. Security is still a major concern. These DeFi protocols, they can be pretty complex, and sometimes vulnerabilities slip through.
So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. The potential is huge, but the risks are real.
Yeah, it's a balancing act for sure.
So what's your advice for someone who's thinking about dipping their toes into the DeFi world?
Well, first off, do your research. Don't just jump into something because it sounds trendy or promises crazy returns. Understand what you're investing in, the team behind it, all that good stuff.
Due diligence is key.
Absolutely. Look for projects that have been audited by reputable security firms. That's always a good sign. And, maybe start small. Don't put in more than you're comfortable losing.
Wise words. Now, before we wrap things up, I wanted to touch on a trend that I find fascinating. The rise of crypto in emerging markets. We're seeing countries like Nigeria, the Philippines, really embracing crypto. What's driving this adoption, do you think?
It's a combination of factors. In a lot of these countries, people are dealing with high inflation. Crypto, especially stablecoins pegged to the US dollar, can offer a way to protect their savings from eroding.
So it's like a safe haven from economic instability.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of access to financial services. In many of these places, traditional banking just isn't an option for a lot of people.
They're excluded from the system.
Yeah. Crypto can provide access to financial services that they wouldn't have otherwise. And another big factor is remittances. People working abroad sending money back home. Traditional remittance services can be really slow and expensive.
Imagine.
Crypto offers a much faster and cheaper way to do it. It can be a lifeline for families.
So it's really empowering people in these regions, giving them more control over their finances.
Absolutely. It's a powerful tool for financial inclusion.
But how are governments responding to this rise in crypto adoption? Are they embracing it?
It's a mixed bag, really. Some governments are definitely more open to it than others. Some see the potential for economic growth. Others are more cautious, maybe worried about the risks.
It's a challenge, finding that balance.
Yeah. I think what we need is more collaboration between governments, regulators, and the crypto industry itself. We need to create clear guidelines, frameworks that foster innovation while addressing legitimate concerns.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about creating a whole ecosystem that works for everyone.
Exactly. It's a complex landscape, but I think we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a whole new world out there.
Yeah.
A lot to figure out, but hey, that's part of what makes it so exciting.
Absolutely. Crypto really does challenge you to think differently about finance, about technology, even about what value means.
It's like we're rewriting the rules, right?
In a way, yeah. We're still in the early stages, but the potential is huge.
So for our listener, as they kind of navigate this crazy, exciting world, what's one thing you'd want them to keep in mind?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's about finding that balance, the balance between embracing all this innovation and making sure we're doing it responsibly.
So it's not just about move fast and break things.
No, I think with crypto, we need to be a little more careful. There's so much potential for good, but we need to make sure we're building a sustainable future, something that benefits everyone.
That's a really important point. It's not just about the tech, it's about the impact.
Exactly. We need to make sure this technology is used for good, that it empowers people, that it creates a more equitable world.
Couldn't agree more. Well, this has been an incredible journey. I feel like we've only scratched the surface, though.
Oh, yeah. We could talk about this stuff for hours.
We probably could. But for now, we'll have to leave it there. To our listener, keep exploring this crazy crypto world. Keep asking questions. Stay informed.
And remember, this is just the beginning. Who knows what amazing things are coming next?
Exactly. Until next time, happy diving.